All right, so today we're going to talk about this is part 4 of how does your body, the body of a holistic health practitioner, differ from the body of modern man, that is John and Mary on the street. John and Mary on the street eat 3 meals a day with snacks in between. In the evening, they probably go out and drink alcohol. Um, John and Mary are stressed, both at work and probably in their relationships. They are full of discontent and dissatisfaction. Generally, I'm describing modern man, the way we live our lives, unhappy with the way we are living, unsatisfied, unmet expectations, high chronic stress, high inflammation. That is the life I'm describing, that you and I live, that is so different from the life of a holistic health practitioner. A holistic health practitioner is a person that endeavors to align their body, their mind, and their spirit in one line where each one communicates with the other and feeds into the other in harmony, in balance, in peace, in inner stillness. There is a technique or several techniques in which you can actually practice a life, a holistic life. Very, very simple techniques, but not easy because they require you to change the way you think. They require you to change your priorities in life. They require you to change the way you see. Your vision must change. Your knowledge must change for you to be able to align yourself on the holistic health journey. So right now, the reason I'm making all this series is because I would like to bring to your attention the reason why it is important to go on the journey and how different your body, which by the way is also your mind, because the body and the mind are not different. So every time I'm talking about the body, I'm also speaking about the mind. How different your body and your mind is from modern man. So in the earlier um, parts, talked about blood flow, talked about all these different things, metabolic health. So today I wanted to speak a little bit about hormone balance as well as the nervous system. A holistic health practitioner always seeks to balance the nervous system as well as the hormone system. A balanced nervous system always results into a balanced hormonal system because they go together. The nervous system speaks to the glands that produce the hormones. So if it is balanced, and in a balanced, I'm talking about the autonomic nervous system, which is the nervous system that works unbeknownst to you, to your control. It's always in the background, and it is divided between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the one that is responsible for fight and flight, for the stress that Mary and John, modern life, modern man, experience in their lives. Always stressed. The sympathetic nervous system was required to help you flee from a lion in the savannah, from danger. It was not required to remain eternally or chronically elevated in your body. It was supposed to be quickly balanced by the parasympathetic nervous system. So you see a lion, you run away, you get excited, the parasympathetic nervous system gets excited, and then after 10 minutes of running away from the lion, the parasympathetic nervous system takes over again, you regain calmness and live a life of peace. This is not how the current metrics, the current system in which we live is designed. It is designed to keep you chronically in sympathetic mode, fight and flee. So your cortisol levels, which is the hormone produced by your kidneys when you are stressed or when you are in sympathetic tone, cortisol, the stress hormone, is chronically elevated in modern man. It's always high. The baseline is always high. High because of psychological reasons like emotional stress, socio-economic stress as you're looking for money, envy, jealousy, anger, anxiety, fear, worry, all those emotions, negative emotions that are awash in the minds of modern man, keep cortisol elevated and adrenaline as well. Yeah, adrenaline is another hormone that is produced by the sympathetic tone of the nervous system. So these are always elevated, especially cortisol. And that elevation causes damage. Yeah, actually, cortisol, one of the damages that is most prevalent is the deposition of fat in the visceral area around the belly. So when you are beginning to get belly, it's because your cortisol levels are always high. It sends a signal to deposit fats around the organs in the abdomen, around your kidneys, around your liver, around your stomach. You get abdominal fat. So when you get abdominal fat, it's really a sign that you are chronically stressed. Chronically stressed because of those emotional and psychological reasons, but also chronically stressed because of the chemical reasons. The chemical reasons, the biggest one being the food that you eat and also the alcohol that you drink. Alcohol is a big problem for modern man, highly accepted by society, but very dangerous to the nervous system, damaging the nervous system, damaging the adrenal glands, and chronically elevating your cortisol levels. So it is no surprise that it is called the beer belly. Yes, because it's caused by beer, by alcohol, which raises the cortisol, which raises the visceral fat, which makes your abdomen bigger than the abdomen of a person on a holistic journey. So this sympathetic nervous system needs to be balanced by the parasympathetic nervous system, which is one for rest and digest. It is the generator of eternal as well as internal peace. When you're in parasympathetic mode, you're peaceful. You're not irritable. You feel content. It comes along with other hormones like serotonin, produced in the brain, also in the gut, to give you a sense of contentment and happiness. It's also called the vagal tone because it has a lot to do with the vagus nerve, which runs from the brain right down to the organs of the whole body and sends messages about the state of your interior to the brain. It is always communicating with the brain. It's a big nerve. It's called the vagus nerve. That nerve is, once you activate it, it puts you in the vagal tone or the parasympathetic tone, which is the tone of heaven. The sympathetic tone is the tone of hell, in which modern man, Mary and John on the street, are in constantly. The parasympathetic tone is the tone that the person on the holistic health journey is aware of and puts into action the techniques required to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Yes. So, what methods does the holistic health practitioner put into place? I told you already that this is a small advert for the toolkit that I apply. Fasting. Fasting is one of the known uh, ways in which you are able to manage your hormones, to regulate your hormones, to regulate your nervous system. One of the biggest hormones of the hormones that is regulated by fasting is insulin. Insulin is the hormone required to regulate the amount of sugar in your blood, because when sugar is in the bloodstream, it causes damage to the vascular system, to the veins and arteries, and the heart as well. So insulin is produced by the pancreas, a hormone, to make sure that the sugar does not remain in the bloodstream. Get it out as quickly as possible. Put it into the muscles to store it as glycogen, or under the skin as adipose fat. So when you're eating all the time, like John and Mary on the street, modern man, you gain a situation that is called insulin resistance. Because your blood is always flooded with sugar, it also is always therefore flooded with insulin. Because insulin is always there to protect the body from the sugar. So eventually the cells, the receptors, the doorways of the cells become resistant to the insulin because it is always elevated. When you fast, the lack of glucose, the lack of sugar in your blood causes the body cells, liver cells, skeletal muscle cells to become sensitive to the insulin. So that whenever you break your fast and eat, that sugar spike that is caused by the food is quickly brought down because your cells are insulin resistant, rather insulin sensitive. So a person that fasts is insulin sensitive. That means they are not likely to suffer the ill effects of glucose in the bloodstream, which causes, by the way, inflammation. Glucose causes inflammation, as well as insulin itself, as it is in the blood, trying to regulate and fight all this glucose. Also itself, the insulin itself causes inflammation. So you do not want insulin to be high for a long time as it's trying to regulate the glucose. You also do not want the glucose to be high. Both of them are dangerous. They cause inflammation in modern man. And so modern man is continuously insulin resistant or insensitive, but also chronically inflamed. This is serious. You live your life chronically inflamed. Inflammation is the foundation of a multitude, a myriad of diseases: cancer, high blood pressure, stroke, atherosclerosis, or whatever that is called. All these diseases, as well as mental health. Poor mental health is caused by chronic inflammation, especially from continuous eating without any space for fasting, which causes your brain cells to become inflamed. Do you really think that if your brain cells are inflamed, you are going to look at the world properly? Do you think you are going to be stress resistant? Do you think you are going to be free from illusions? Do you know that illusions and belief systems that come along with those illusions are the biggest cause of human suffering? Do you know that sometimes you may live a life of unforgiveness, inability to forgive, simply because your brain cells are inflamed and they're affecting the way you are looking at reality? Yes, the way you're looking at your perception, your way of seeing suffers from illusions because of chronic inflammation, because of continuous eating, which raises your blood sugar and damages all these things. So if you want to have clarity, of no wonder that when people begin to fast, take on the holistic health journey, one of the things that they realize, even religions are have pushed for fasting from ancient time, from antiquity, encouraging followers whenever they need clarity of mind around issues that they need solved, that prayer and fasting are a prerequisite, because the fasting causes clarity, and it causes clarity because it removes the sugar from the blood. When it removes sugar from the, inflammation goes down. When inflammation goes down, you return to your default settings as God intended you to be, which is uninflamed. And so you get clarity. And so your powers of vision, psychic powers, come on board. The powers that God gave you that are now quiet and silent and atrophied like an unused muscle, they are inside you. They are resurrected by removal of inflammation. That's how powerful fasting is. Fasting is so, so important. Meditation. Meditation's main goal, like I told you before, and I will always tell you, is relaxation. Meditation seeks to relax the body, because the relaxation response of the body causes an energetic download into the body. This is how the body works automatically. Don't ask me how it happens. It is automatic, just as breathing is automatic. Can you explain how you breathe in and how you breathe out? Like, what causes that? The same, when you meditate, you relax. When you relax, you automatically download energy from the atmosphere, the cosmos, as well as from the ground. You bring in energy into the body. And where does that energy go first? It goes to the nervous system. And because every action in the body, and the whole universe anyway, requires energy, as long as the brain and the nervous system have the energy they need, then equanimity or balance or harmony becomes an inevitable outcome. Have you heard? I have said inevitable. There is no need to hope for peace. There is no need to hope for equanimity and harmony in your being if you meditate. If you meditate, the outcome of harmony and inner peace and stillness and calmness and balance of the nervous system is inevitable, because You are aligning yourself with universal law. It is a law. When you throw something up, it must fall down because of the law of gravity. When you relax in meditation, when you practice meditation to the point that you begin to learn to relax, that your body begins to understand what you are doing through continuous practice and consistent practice, begins to understand what you are doing, and therefore responds by relaxing, peace, harmony, balance, alignment is inevitable. I hope you heard that. I really wanted to emphasize it. And that is why meditation forms the foundation of the holistic health practitioner, like me. In fact, when I am doing affirmations every day, affirmations are my way of praying, of talking, of sending positive energy upon my being. One of the mantras that I repeat again and again and again is that I am meditation. Not I practice, not I do, I am meditation. So every moment, every second, I am a living, moving, walking, breathing meditation. Yes, because I know that through that is where my food, my sustenance, which is energy, comes from. Energy is everything. Sometimes you actually need a certain way of hearing. Like this message that I'm sending out is not for everybody. It depends on the mind that you have brought to the message. Now, the mind, I brought a mind of energy work to a message that I was listening to on AI. AI is one of those technologies that has put us at a transitional era in humanity. It's going to change everything as we know it. It's going to change our lives. Like in 2030, the world will be completely different from what it is now. But one of the guys in an interview that I was listening to said that this whole AI system, at the bottom of the pyramid of it, it is in levels. At the bottom is energy. Energy is the one required to power the infrastructure, required to power the chips, required to power the AI models, required to power the applications that are built on the language models. All these levels of AI ecosystem are all powered by energy. The guy said, we need more energy. Elon Musk himself said that for sustainability of this AI generation, we're going to need to really depend on the sun's energy. Because that big ball in the atmosphere, in the air there in the sky, that big ball of energy is responsible for 100% of the energy of the whole solar system. It is so massive. The holistic health practitioner, the mind of the holistic health practitioner understands the importance of energy and therefore understands the importance of meditation, because meditation is the way, the technique that brings energy into your being and gives you all the energy required to elevate you to the next level of consciousness, the next level of awareness, the next level of seeing, your cognitive abilities, your magezi, your way of talking, your way of expressing yourself, your immune system, your way of relating with people. all are affected by energy. The more energy you have, the more you can do. That's why when that guy in an interview said that the whole AI revolution is going to need more energy, I understood as a meditation practitioner the power of energy to transform things, to change things. I understood. So when you meditate, you bring in the energy required to balance your nervous system. And when the nervous system is balanced, the hormonal system, all the hormones come in online, because it comes right from the spine, connects the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the thyroid gland in the neck, the thymus gland in the heart. You know, all these glands, actually, even the muscles themselves are endocrine systems. They produce their own hormones. The liver is producing hormones. The stomach is producing, the whole body is, bones produce hormones. Did you know that bones produce hormones? Kidneys, everything is producing hormones. Everything is the hormonal system, but everything as well is touched by the nervous system. So when the nervous system is balanced, the hormonal system naturally also gets in line. So all these dopamines, all these serotonins, melatonin, insulin, cortisol, all these hormones, there are many, by the way, very many, get regulated and balanced. And what manifests out of that balanced system? It is that which you are seeking. Every time you wake up in the morning, you are seeking something. You are seeking joy. You are seeking a sense of love and connection. You are seeking peace in your heart. You're seeking contentment, enoughness. These things, you're seeking them. But because you're in a system that lied to you and told you that all those things are outside of you, that you must go out and acquire fast before you are peaceful, before you are joyful, before you are loving, before you are blissful. That was a lie, that you had to go outside of you and get them for you to get that feeling. Because of that, you are chronically unsatisfied and incomplete. But all those things are inside of you. And for you to experience them, you need energy. And meditation is the foundation of the energy. They actually say that sleep is unconscious meditation. That no wonder that the whole scientific department promotes sleep as a way of recharging yourself. The Chinese promote the siesta. Even in Europe, Spain, Belgium, they take afternoon naps. Margaret Thatcher used to take naps in her office. Do you know why? As a way of re-energizing. Every time you wake up from good sleep, you wake up re-energized. Why? Because your body relaxed during sleep. Why do you think people snore? It's because the airwaves have also over-relaxed. Sleep is an exercise in relaxation. And because you relax while you are asleep, you download energy. So you wake up recharged. Food is not the source. Let me tell you something. Spend 48 hours or 72 hours eating the best food you can, cooked by the best chef in the world. The food you desire. You spend eating it and don't sleep. You don't go to sleep. Don't go to bed. And then we see what kind of energy you will have after 72 hours without sleeping. You will crash out. You will crash out. Why? Because the food is not the source of your sustenance. No. It is the universal energy from God that sustains you. And your body downloads it during the relaxation response that you get from sleep or from meditation. Meditation, conscious relaxation for purposes of downloading energy, for purposes of using that energy to balance your nervous system, which results in the balancing of hormones. So you better learn how to meditate. There are gazillion ways in which to meditate. You can do the research yourself. Learn how to balance. So when you balance your hormones, inflammation in your body goes down. I told you that already. Okay? When it goes down, when the inflammation is down, in effect, it also causes better balance of hormones. When your sugar levels are down, as in fasting, it also betters your hormones. Like I said, we talked about insulin, but there are other hormones as well. When I am fasting, which is regularly, I get moments of bliss, especially as you go deeper into the meditation, rather in the fasting. There are moments of bliss, waves of bliss and joy that take over the body. Now, you may try to be so mythical about those waves of bliss, but really what is happening is just that your balanced hormonal system is expressing itself as a wave of bliss. Your serotonin is in line, in tune. Your dopamine is in tune. By the way, also when you balance your hormones, one of the greatest things is a reduction in cravings. Our system in which we live right now is dependent on you having cravings. I have talked about this before. Let me say it again. Cravings. Number one craving, most basic craving that is created in you from the time you're young is the craving for food. You crave food so much that even when you are eating it, you are busy thinking about where you're going to get the next meal tomorrow. As in, when you get the food, it never makes you content. Its presence doesn't make you content because you are so worried about where you're going to get the food tomorrow. That is how messed up our lives are when it comes to food. Something that does not give you life. It doesn't. It gives you life because you are an addict. Every addiction, when someone is trying to quit it suddenly, can kill them. Even an alcoholic, when they stop drinking suddenly, they can die. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the food that you eat, just I told you, I gave you an example. You try and eat for 3 days without sleeping, and you see how sleep is more important than food. Yes. It requires a certain way of seeing and hearing to understand what I'm saying. It's okay if you don't understand it. But you're giving food a lot of importance simply because you have been conditioned from childhood by your parents, by the whole system, to become a food addict, to crave food. And that causes all manner of slavery because you're afraid of hunger. It prevents you from expressing your creativity because you have no time to express your creativity because you're so busy gathering food. It takes 20, I don't know how many hours of your 24 hours gathering food and then storing it to prevent it and then protecting it from being stolen. So that's the bad thing about craving. Now, when you balance your hormones, your cravings reduce, including the craving for food. So you remain alive, in fact, more energetic, because the processing of food, the acquiring of food, then the cooking of the food, and then the digesting of the food and the eating of the food, the elimination of the food are all energy expenses. So the moment you get freed from that craving of continuous indulgence in food, you have more energy to spend. And you have more energy to spend on creative pursuits, because you are a co-creator with God. Creativity is the purpose you are here on earth to create, to express yourself. And for you to be able to do that, you need energy. Not running around trying to fulfill your craving for food when breathing is much more important than food. Man, I can say a lot about food. I can say a lot. I need a whole video to talk about food. How it affects our emotions, how it affects the way we treat different animals, other sentient beings, the poultry industry, the cattle industry, how we relate with those animals, just because we need to eat. We need to satisfy our cravings. So breaking free from cravings through the process of balancing your nervous system and your hormonal system is a way of acquiring freedom, spiritual freedom, freedom in which you have all the time and space to connect with your true self, which is God inside of you. Jesus famously said, "What does it benefit you to gain the whole world but lose your soul?" You gain the whole world because you have cravings. That world you have cravings for things in that world. Food is a craving. Sex is a craving for which men, especially men, of course, and women, have suffered immensely from the pursuit of sex, as you are trying to quieten down that feeling of being horny, which keeps rearing its ugly head up every time. Masturbation, the porn industry, the most watched website on earth today is porn websites, because people are busy masturbating on pornographic content. Why? Because their systems are up and down. They have imbalanced nervous system, dysregulated nervous systems. Energy flow is not seamless in their bodies. Their cravings are high. A person who craves for food also craves for sex. They're same mechanism. Craving, looking for those dopamine hits because the nervous system is dysregulated. The craving for sex has caused innumerable suffering, still does in modern man. And a holistic health practitioner has those cravings for sex greatly reduced, because a craving is a craving. Craving for alcohol, craving for weed and other drugs. The biggest craving, unseen, untouched, the craving for social approval. You yearn to be approved of by other people. You are addicted to the drug of approval. It's a craving, especially now in times of social media. You wake up in the morning seeking to be approved, not knowing your worth unless other people tell you what you are worth. Otherwise, you don't know. You are blind, you are numb to your true self, to your God self. Other people have to be the ones to tell you what you are for you to feel any worth. So you crave social approval. This is dangerous. But when you are a holistic health practitioner and you balance your nervous system, balance your hormonal, one of the things that is going to reduce tremendously, to the point of zero, by the way, along the journey, is cravings. In so doing, you'll acquire a lot of freedom, freedom to express yourself, freedom to seek the most important thing in the universe, God, the light, your true self, self-realization, enlightenment, self-awareness, all these words that you hear being thrown around. You can only achieve them if you change your internal state, which is the state of your nervous system as well as your hormonal system. Finally, anyway, I'm running out of time. I never want to make all these videos very long. I also wanted to talk about factors. There are protein factors in the brain. One of them is a protein that is released by your muscles, especially when you're on the holistic health journey, because you're continuously exercising and exerting the muscles. They produce a protein that promotes the production of new capillaries in the body. And that hormone or protein goes to the brain and promotes the formation of new capillaries in your brain. When these new capillaries form in the brain, what follows is the formation of new brain cells. There is also another hormone that is produced inside the brain, especially during the time of fasting, which is one of the techniques on the holistic health journey, called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, that also promotes not only the production of new brain cells, but the connection, the neural network in your brain, which results in your powers of cognition, of understanding, that changes your way of perceiving life, betters it. So what you need to do on the holistic health journey is to promote your brain health through movement, moving those muscles. Exercise is so important in generating these hormones that you require to better your brain, which is the best computer on this in the whole universe, hands down. You need to learn how to look after it. The holistic health practitioner understands the value of the brain and knows the techniques required to enhance and optimize its working. Unlike John and Mary on the street, modern man. So finally, anyway, prioritize your sleep. If you cannot meditate, at least sleep. Sleep the required number of hours. If you are a meat eater, because on the holistic health journey, we do not eat meat. No. But if you are a meat eater, you need to sleep more, because meat releases a lot of toxins in your body. So your body needs more time to detoxify. And sleep is the time in which the body has enough energy downloaded from the cosmos to help it to detoxify. So if you're a meat eater, you need more sleep. I was going to say if you're an alcohol drinker, which people on the holistic journey don't do. If you're an alcohol drinker, you need more sleep. But unfortunately, alcohol interrupts with sleep. So you can never have quality sleep as long as you're putting alcohol in your body. And I'm not talking about heavy drinkers. I'm talking about anyone that puts alcohol in their body. You cannot have good sleep because its mode of action is to destroy your sleep. So I was going to say, alcohol, sleep. I don't know what you're going to do. But on the holistic journey, we do not drink alcohol because we know its dangers. One of them is it interrupts my meditation, but also interrupts my sleep. So I cannot detoxify my body. I do not have enough energy for detoxifying because the alcohol itself is an energy hogger, but it also blocks my ability to download more energy to detoxify it. So it's just there to kill me, to kill the energy I have, and also prevent me from downloading the energy I need to clean the body, the damage it has done. So we do not drink on the holistic health journey. So learn how to meditate for reasons I've already given you. Learn how to fast. And I said learn because it is a skill that you learn slowly by slowly. You do not just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to go, 24 hours, 48 hours without food. Your body is going to give you serious pushback. So you have to learn how to fast. Learning is underline the word learning. That means you have to go progressively, slowly towards the goal of eventually living a fasting lifestyle where your body is now used and conditioned and understanding what you are trying to do. The body needs to be trained and conditioned. So you need to learn how to meditate, learn how to fast. Take on a practice like Qigong. Mine is Qigong, where I stand still. I stand still and look inward. Introspection. Increase my sensitivity of my interior. Learn what triggers my impatience. Strengthen my fascia, my bones, my tendons. Discipline myself because I can stand there for 2 hours without moving. In so doing, change my very being. Maybe you don't have to do Qigong for 2 hours. You don't have to be as radical or as elite as I am. No. Check it out though. Check out Qigong. It's a form of standing meditation. It's a practice and a tool for changing yourself, becoming a whole new being. After meditating for 7 years, you become a whole new being. You drop every single part of your old self. And out comes, sprouts a new super being with deep breath, good blood flow, calmer mind, better cognition, stronger bones, stronger tendons, stronger muscles, great posture. Man, the benefits are unimaginable. It's an investment worth making, time worth spending on yourself. Qigonging. Learn it. Go and research it. Finally, positive thinking. Positive thinking is something you should practice, mainly through mantras, things you repeat continuously for yourself, to yourself, so that they can begin to form the direction in which you think. So when I wake up every morning and I say, I am meditation, I am meditation, I am meditation, it entrains my life in a way that every activity, including making this video, is a meditation. Positive thinking, instead of waking up remembering how weak you are, regretting the past, and being afraid of the future, and you call that reality. And you're right, it is reality because it is your reality. But guess what? If it is your reality, it means you own it, and it means you can change it. And there are techniques for changing your reality into a reality that is favorable to you and to those around you. And that is part of the holistic health journey. positive thinking. Mantras, repeat them to yourself. Tell yourself how he who is in you is stronger than he who is in the world. Repeat that 20 times. See how it changes you. See how it changes how you believe and how you see the world. Because the world is not as it is as you see it. It is as you are. And how you are is affected by one among many other things, your way of thinking, the mantras, the positive references you make to yourself about yourself. All right. God bless you. We shall continue to do more videos. I hope you got something out of this. Salams.